There's a psychological trick so powerful, it can make entire countries bend to your will. It can crash stock markets with a single tweet. It can turn chaos into strategy and weakness into dominance. And in 2025, one man used it to extract billions of dollars from the world's largest economies. His name is Donald Trump. And what he did wasn't politics. It was psychological warfare on a scale never seen before. Let me show you something. In August 2025, Trump imposed a 50% tariff on India. The Indian stock market lost $40 billion in a single day. Pharmaceutical companies that had spent decades building U.S. relationships watched their valuations collapse overnight. But here's where it gets interesting. India didn't fold. They called the tariffs unfair, unjustified, and unreasonable. They refused to negotiate on Trump's terms. They stood their ground. And yet, Trump kept using the same tactics. On Mexico, on Canada, on China, on the European Union. Because here's what most people don't understand. The tactic isn't about winning every negotiation. It's about controlling the game itself. Mexico scrambled to avoid tariffs. Canada made concessions. China came back to the table. Some countries bent. Some didn't. But every single one of them was forced to play Trump's game. And here's the disturbing part. Every move you thought was impulsive, calculated. Every tweet you thought was stupid, strategic. Every decision you thought was chaos, psychological warfare. By the end of this video, I'm going to show you the exact tactics Trump used. Tactics so effective, they've been studied by psychologists for decades. Tactics that exploit fundamental flaws in how the human brain makes decisions. You're going to see how anchoring turns extreme demands into acceptable compromises. How loss aversion makes rational leaders act desperate. How unpredictability becomes the most powerful weapon in negotiation. And whether you love Trump or hate him, you're going to realize something that will change how you see power forever. The game isn't about truth, it's about psychology. And Trump is playing a game most people don't even know exists. Let's begin. Let me take you back to 1969. President Richard Nixon had a problem. The Vietnam War was dragging on. North Vietnam wouldn't negotiate. So Nixon did something brilliant. He leaked a rumor that he was mentally unstable, that he might use nuclear weapons, that he was unpredictable and dangerous. It was called the Madman Theory. And it worked. North Vietnam came to the negotiating table because they were terrified of what Nixon might do. Fast forward to 2026. Trump has perfected this strategy. When he threatens 25% tariffs on Mexico, then backs down to 10%, people think he's impulsive. But that's exactly what he wants you to think. Because unpredictability isn't weakness. It's a weapon. Here's why. When your opponents can't predict your next move, they can't prepare. They can't strategize. They're always reactive, never proactive. And in negotiation, the person who's reactive has already lost. Trump understands this at a level most politicians never will. Every chaotic decision keeps his opponents off balance. Every controversial statement dominates the news cycle. Every unpredictable move forces world leaders to respond to him, not the other way around. This isn't stupidity. This is psychological warfare. Now let's talk about the first psychological weapon Trump uses. It's called anchoring. Here's how it works. When you're negotiating, the first number you throw out becomes the anchor. Everything else is judged relative to that number. Let me give you an example. You're selling a car. It's worth $10,000, but you list it for $15,000. When someone offers $12,000, it feels like a compromise. But you just got $2,000 more than the car is worth. That's anchoring. Trump does this on a global scale. He threatens 50% tariffs on China. Economists panic. The media says it's economic suicide. China's leaders scramble. Then Trump compromises at 25%. Everyone breathes a sigh of relief. China thinks they won. The media praises the deal. But here's the truth. Trump never wanted 50%. He wanted 25% all along. The 50% was just the anchor. And it worked. China accepted tariffs they would have rejected if Trump had started at 25%. This is why Trump's first offers are always extreme. He's not being unreasonable. He's setting the anchor so high that his real goal seems like a compromise. It's manipulation. But it's brilliant manipulation. And the scary part? Most people don't even realize it's happening. Here's a psychological fact that Trump exploits better than anyone. People fear loss more than they value gain. This is called loss aversion. And it's one of the most powerful forces in human psychology. Let me prove it to you. Imagine I offer you two choices. Choice A, I give you $500, guaranteed. Choice B, you flip a coin. Heads, you get $1,000. Tails, you get nothing. Most people pick choice A. Even though choice B has the same expected value, the fear of losing is stronger than the excitement of winning. Now watch how Trump uses this. He doesn't offer countries better trade deals. He threatens to take away what they already have. Mexico exports $400 billion to the US every year. Trump threatens 25% tariffs. Suddenly, Mexico is facing a potential loss of $100 billion. India exports $80 billion in pharmaceuticals, textiles, and IT services to the US. Trump threatens tariffs on Indian goods. India's economy, heavily dependent on US trade, faces billions in losses. That's not a hypothetical gain. That's a real, tangible loss. And loss aversion kicks in. Mexico's president doesn't think, how can we get a better deal? He thinks, how do we avoid losing $100 billion? India's prime minister doesn't think about growth opportunities. He thinks, how do we protect our pharmaceutical exports? How do we save our IT sector? See the difference? Trump shifted the negotiation from gain-seeking to loss avoidance. And loss avoidance makes people desperate. Desperate people make bad deals. And Trump knows this. He's not negotiating for the best outcome. He's creating fear of the worst outcome. And then offering a way out. It's psychological manipulation at the highest level. Now let's talk about something Trump does better than any politician in history. He controls attention. Think about it. When was the last time you went 24 hours without hearing about Trump? Whether you love him or hate him, he's always in your head. That's not an accident. That's strategy. Here's the psychology. Human attention is a zero-sum game. If people are talking about Trump, they're not talking about his opponents. If the media is covering his tariffs, they're not covering his scandals. Trump understands this instinctively. Every controversial tweet, every outrageous statement, every unpredictable decision is designed to dominate the news cycle. And it works. Studies show that Trump gets more media coverage than any politician in modern history. Not because the media loves him, because he's mastered the art of attention hijacking. He says something controversial. The media covers it. His opponents react. The media covers that. Trump responds. The cycle continues. And while everyone's arguing about his latest tweet, he's quietly implementing policy, making deals, and consolidating power. This is why his opponents always seem reactive. Because they are. Trump sets the agenda. They respond to it. He's not playing the game. He's controlling the board. And the scariest part? Even when you know he's doing it, it still works. Because attention is involuntary. You can't choose not to notice him. He's hacked the media. And through the media, he's hacked your brain. Here's a disturbing psychological fact. If you hear something enough times, your brain starts to believe it's true, even if it's not. This is called the illusory truth effect, and Trump weaponizes it. Listen to how he talks. Believe me, tremendous. The best. Everyone's saying it. Fake news. These aren't random phrases. They're carefully chosen frames that he repeats over and over until they become reality in people's minds. Take fake news. Before Trump, that phrase didn't exist. Now, millions of people use it to dismiss any information they don't like. Trump didn't just create a phrase. He created a mental framework, a way of thinking, a filter through which people interpret reality. That's not politics. That's mind control. And he does it through pure repetition. He says fake news so many times that it becomes a reflex. You hear a story you don't like. Fake news. You see a poll you disagree with. Fake news. He's not arguing with facts. He's reframing reality itself. And the psychology behind this is terrifying. Because once a frame is set, it's almost impossible to break. Your brain filters information to fit the frame, not the other way around. Trump understands this. His opponents don't. That's why they keep losing. They argue with facts. He controls the frame. And the frame always wins. So here's the uncomfortable truth. Trump's psychological tactics work because they exploit fundamental flaws in human thinking. We're not rational. We're emotional. We don't evaluate information objectively. We filter it through biases, fears, and tribal identities. Trump doesn't appeal to your logic. He appeals to your psychology. And psychology always wins. This is why fact-checkers don't work. This is why exposing him doesn't work. Because he's not operating on the level of facts. He's operating on the level of emotion, identity, and tribal belonging. And that's a level most people don't even know exists. Now, here's the question you need to ask yourself. Is this genius or is this dangerous? Because the same tactics that make Trump effective also make him unpredictable. The same strategies that win negotiations also destabilize global markets. The same psychological weapons that control attention also polarize societies. Trump has proven that you don't need truth to win. You just need better psychology. And that should terrify you. Because if Trump can do it, so can the next person. And the next. And the next. We're entering an era where psychological manipulation is more powerful than policy. Where attention is more valuable than truth. Where emotion beats logic every single time. Trump didn't create this world, but he's the first to fully exploit it. And whether you love him or hate him, you need to understand the game he's playing, because it's not going away. So there you have it. The dark psychology of Trump's tariff wars. Anchoring. Loss aversion. Attention hijacking. Repetition. Framing. Unpredictability. These aren't political tactics. They're psychological weapons. And Trump wields them better than anyone in modern history. Love him or hate him, you can't deny it's working. If you want to understand the psychology that actually shapes the world, hit that subscribe button. Because I'm going to keep breaking down the manipulation you don't see. I'll see you in the next one.